Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Kansas City Profiles presented by Easton Roofing. Our guest today is Todd Bohn. He is the Director of Agronomy at the Big Cedar Lodge in Branson, Missouri, or just outside Branson, Missouri, an area that has been one of the most remarkable success stories over the past decade or so that you can ever imagine in the Midwest. Fueled by the passion for all things outdoors by Johnny Morris, the founder of Bass Pro Shops, and of course now with Cabela's. It entails a wide variety of things, including nature trails and wildlife endeavors and all kinds of beautiful rock outcroppings and things to do that have nothing to do with golf. But in my little world and in Todd Bohn's world as well, it's golf that has been an incredible focus for this particular project, which was really just starting to take off when Todd Bohn came aboard in 2016. He is a product of Pratt, Kansas, lived there from the time he was a little boy, had a real passion for agriculture, the outdoors, and really thought he might become a farmer at one point in time. We'll let him tell that story coming up next. But he moved on to play football at Fort Hays State before deciding that, in fact, going and learning the ways of golf course management and turf science and things of the like were the thing that really would be his passion and his life calling. After college, he went and graduating from Kansas State, he came to Kansas City and was an assistant superintendent at 4 Kansas City area golf courses before he moved on to his first job as a head superintendent, and that was the building of Creekmore Golf Course. And, of course, that's in Raymore, beautiful golf course, and he was in there from the outset on that particular endeavor. 5 years later, he moved on to one of the most respected private courses in Kansas City with a slew of great golfers, Wolf Creek. And then in 2016, after a couple of proddings, he went down to Branson, Missouri, or the area in the Ozarks around Table Rock Lake, and joined in the process of creating Big Cedar Lodge and all that goes with it. Well, all that goes with it now includes 5 fantastic golf courses: Buffalo Ridge, Mountaintop, Ozark National, Paynes Valley, Top of the Rock. And as Director of Agronomy, Todd Bohn oversees all of this as it continues to grow and flourish, and at least at the present time is wrapping up the Paynes Valley aspect, and maybe it's just going to stay there for a while. Maybe it's not. I'll ask him about that. But it's an incredible endeavor, one of the Midwest's real treasures, and Todd Bohn is a big part of it. We'll let him tell the story of how he arrived there, how much he treasures being there, and the inspiration of Johnny Morris, and a whole lot more, and talks about some of the most famous people in the world of golf, from both golf course design to playing, like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Tom Fazio, Gary Player, Corin Crenshaw, and on and on and on. A fascinating story with Todd Bohn, the Director of Agronomy at Big Cedar Lodge. He's our guest on Kansas City Profiles, presented by Easton Roofing. We're here with Joe Spiker, the CEO and president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you had a great year in 2019, a record year. 2020 comes, things are moving smoothly along, and then the coronavirus comes. But your company seemed to be very ready, very proactive, and very ready to serve your customers well.
Yeah, we adopted social distancing very early, before the cities even put out the notices, and we started working from home. We are largely cloud-based as a company, so that transition was easy. Our technicians are wearing masks and gloves, and salespeople are not meeting with homeowners. We're doing everything digitally and doing everything we can to do our part to get over this as quickly as possible.
So for any needs that people have right now, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can always call us, 913-257-5426, but the best way is to go to eastonroofing.com. Put your information in and we'll give you a call.
Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. Let's spend a minute with Dr. Brad Woodle, who, along with his wife, Dr. Christina Woodle, the owners of Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, my home for chiropractic care. And first of all, just tell us about the wide range of services you offer.
Danny, we offer comprehensive chiropractic, acupuncture, physiotherapy, and rehab. We do a very thorough examination, x-rays on site as necessary, and we have a full rehabilitation department, so we can help out with exercises, stretches, different therapies for the complex, but also the very simple conditions we treat.
You have been deemed essential and have remained open all through this COVID-19 process. What are some of the things you've done to make sure that was the case?
From the very beginning, in March, we started to make sure that we were cleaning and sanitizing with EPA-registered sanitizing products. We also implemented masks way before the state required them. We implemented a parking lot waiting room, took out half of the chairs in our waiting room, and made sure to space out visits so we could appropriately meet, discuss, and also screen patients to make sure we were taking care of healthy people.
Find out more about Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture and how they can help you at asfca.com. Most of us have experienced auto accidents, and it's no fun. And even less fun is trying to work on the insurance aspects afterwards and getting full value after an auto accident. I'm here with David Cowan from WrecExpert.com. And David, you have an unusual and important niche for people after an auto accident.
We have a passion to teach car wreck clients what they deserve. Getting your car repaired only fixes the damage and the paint. Getting paid for your car's loss in value is called diminished value. Chances are you've never heard of this before because most people aren't looking out for you. We help people collect thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for their car's loss in value after the wreck.
And if somebody wants to come to you for that, what's the original assessment cost them?
We offer a free review of any insurance claim to see how we can help.
You can't beat that. Great expertise and assistance in getting full value after an auto accident. From David Cowan, visit RecExpert.com and learn more.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Todd, you were born in Denver, Colorado, and lived there until you were about 4 or 5 years old, and probably the only residue of that is the fact that you were stained to be a Broncos fan, but there was some nice glory years there, and now you get to have some good battles with Chiefs fans, I'm sure. But then you moved on to Pratt, Kansas, is where you spent your childhood. What was childhood in Pratt, Kansas like?
Well, Danny, good to be with you. Childhood in Pratt, Kansas. My father was in the cattle business, was a feedlot manager, and I grew up working some for him out at the feedlot. I worked various jobs in the summer. One of my favorite jobs, and one that I thought may be my career calling for a while, was farming. I worked for a couple guys around town and farmed and wheat harvests and all that fun stuff, and really, really enjoyed that. And so that was kind of my childhood there in Pratt, and I played sports. So, I was Pratt High School and proud to be a greenback. But I was on the football team. We won the state title in '96, so that was fun and had a good run. I actually played high school golf when I was in high school there, and I never knew about this side of the business, working on the turf side of things, and it just kind of all fit together. But I'm kind of a glorified farmer now. I don't harvest crops, but I feel like a farmer at a lot of times, dealing with the weather and in a lot of different aspects.
You mentioned that you thought that farming, regular farming, I guess you would put it, it was something that you thought might be part of your future. What was it that turned the course towards what would be a golf course management degree at Kansas State and in that direction as far as turf is concerned? Was there any moment or thing that sort of pointed you in that direction?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't remember when that aha moment was, but I was at Fort Hays State playing college football and decided I was done playing college football and wanted to transfer, and I transferred to K-State, and I came to K-State, and it was on the year that they were starting to build the golf course management program at K-State, about the time Colbert Hills was getting built and going through the construction. And so I actually got a job out there working on the construction team at Colbert Hills and worked at Manhattan Country Club as well during my time in school there. But But it was really when I got there and got those jobs and realized that there was this side of the business that I really wanted to be in it. And my father, who's K-Stater as well, kids, when you're playing football and stuff, you think you're going to be a business major or something like that. You don't really have a clear focus on what you're doing because you're focused on playing football a lot of times. But he said that, there's this major that's coming out at K-State. I think you'd like it. I think you like to be outside. I think you like, doing things. You like being around sports. And I've always been a big sports guy. And so I think that's what the draw was. And that's kind of how I got into it. And I just checked it out and fell in love with it. And, by the way, I was playing golf coincidentally and didn't even realize that this side of it was there. And so it all just kind of worked out.
What was it that made you, after going to Fort Hays State to play football, decide that it wasn't for you anymore?
I wanted to be a college kid, just working, playing sport. It's more of a business when you get to that level. And I was tired of being told where to go and how to do it and when to do it, and wanted to just go be a college kid. And so I think that was just kind of, the decision was a tough one. It really, really was. I was locked in and loaded on playing college football. That was my lifelong dream, and it was tough to walk away from it. But I'm very glad that, how things worked out, and I'm glad where I am now.
For people who aren't familiar with it, when you're a golf course management major, obviously you're going to have to look at all varieties of that side of the business. You would end up in the turf side, but what kind of things do you study?
So my major from Kansas State is really a couple. Obviously, the core of my classes is in turfgrass science with horticulture and turfgrass science. But I've also got a business minor in a sense, and I've got a communication minor, and then I've got a hotel and restaurant management minor. So they did a really good job of preparing you to do anything in the hospitality and golf industry that you would want to do, whether it be the outside portion of it, in the turf and the grass, or if you wanted to go and become a general manager or run an operation. So, it prepared you well, and I'm happy to have that major, and I go back frequently and talk to students now about it, and it's been evolving over the years, which I think is good. It's getting even better than when I was there. So, but that's kind of just a turf horticulture degree with some minors and some of the other things that you use out here on a daily basis.
You mentioned that things have changed over the years. When you're studying turf grass and horticulture and turf science, as it were, what are the aspects of it that you are looking at? What grasses thrive in certain climates or new strains, or what kind of things are you looking at?
So, obviously, the environment's a huge part of what we do in managing the environment, and water is becoming a huge issue right now in our business and across the board, just the overuse of water and water restrictions, and then obviously chemical and fertilizer, restrictions and usages, and trying to be kind and clean to the environment. So a lot of focus in the golf course superintendent right now is on a lot of environmental stewardships and a lot of, cutting down on inputs, not fertilizing as much, trying to cut down and really get your water to where it needs to be, and not just broad stroke it out there and waste it all. So, in that degree, there's different strains of grasses now, drought tolerant grasses, disease drought and drought tolerant grasses. It's kind of like anything else. It's a growing, evolving, industry. And, right now, a lot of stuff, we're getting into autonomy mowers, with labor shortages in places, GPS sprayers, GPS guided mowers, to where you're getting that precision ag, that precision part of maintaining golf courses now. And it's really fascinating to see. Just, I've been in the business for a little over 20 years, and just when I got into it, where I started, to where I am now is really amazing. And just the overall quality that the superintendents around the world really are providing for golfers now is unparalleled, and really proud to be associated with the group, and and just, it comes down to machinery and equipment and the quality of cuts and just all of that. And I really think it's a big part of the game that not a lot of people talk about a lot of times. But my, guys like me that do like my staff and I do, and around the country, a lot of hard workers and early mornings, a lot of stuff happens before a lot of people get to the golf course that they don't realize.
That's for darn sure. So you get out of Kansas State and you have all these different things in your toolbox there, and you head to Kansas City, and you're at a whole host of courses in Kansas City: Prairie Highlands, Hillcrest, Blue Hills, Lionsgate. That was as an assistant superintendent, and then you would get your first chance in 2006 at Creekmore, a wonderful golf course. What's the how tough a grind is it being an assistant super?
It's not a real glorious spot to be at times. I know there's a lot of young individuals in those positions now, but it's a very rewarding one. You work a lot of hours, and it's not always easy work. And you're managing people, dealing with the elements, dealing with golfers, dealing with equipment issues, and doing a lot of things. But you can really grow as an assistant, and it was some of the more rewarding times of my life. I just saw, I learned so much. I was so fortunate to work for so many great people along my career, in the Kansas City area, and saw a lot of different ways to do things. And I think that is what has helped me in my career to be successful, and just different ways to do things. And you can take things from everybody. And now that I have a pretty good sized staff under me down here at the 5 courses I'm at, I'm hoping that people can say the same thing working for me, is that that they can take some things away. But being an assistant is a dedication. You got to have dedication. You got to be willing to step in and work hard and be willing to put the hours in. But man, it's gratifying in those early mornings when you're driving down the cart path on your golf course and the sun's coming up and you see the beauty of your work, or you're hosting a big event, and you're putting on an event, and your team comes together and presents a quality product. It's a very gratifying occupation as well.
In 2006, as I mentioned, you get your first head superintendent at Creekmore, but you're doing it as a build-in, taking a property from right at the start. That's probably a very daunting task, but a great learning experience for your first job.
It is. Somehow I convinced the ownership, Cooper Land Development of Creekmore, to hire a young guy like myself that hasn't done that before, and I'm forever grateful to them for giving me the opportunity. But yes, that was a very eye-opening experience for me, and I preach to young guys and young people. This is not only in my profession, but in other professions. Network. Never be afraid to network and reach out and say hi to people when you get the opportunity, because you never know when you'll need it. And man, I relied on that network huge when I got my first job, and going through a construction and growing, and just the nuances of the irrigation system going into greens building, to bunker construction, to making sure everything's draining properly, to making sure that the right grasses are chosen, just all of that. And I never, ever could have done that without the people around me helping me and my network of folks. And so, yes, it was, I'm forever grateful for the experience, but it was a lot of studying late nights for me, and staying up and learning and trying to be a sponge as much as I can.
Describe the relationship between somebody as a superintendent and the architect of the golf course when you are trying to do something like this. I mean, obviously there's got to be some give and take, and you're each extremely important in the process. So what's that like?
It is a very important relationship, Danny. It's hugely important. I can't stress that enough. Not only through the project I did there in Kansas City, but now the multiple projects I've done where I am now. But just having a team, you got to trust each other, and you got to work together. Sometimes architects' plans for things aren't very easily maintained, and so you got to have a conversation and say, we're protecting the owner or the members together, and you got to say, do we want to do this? Is this the way we want to do this? Is this how it's going to look? Because this is what's going to take me to maintain it. And just, working on that way. All of us have the same goal in mind, and that's to produce the best product possible for the golfer, the end user, whoever that may be, members or paying people or whoever that may be. And so it's very important that the superintendent and architect are a team and work hand in hand together. I'm a firm believer in that. I've been very fortunate in my current position to work with a lot of the best in the business, in my opinion, and I've seen different approaches to different things, and I've learned a lot. And there were things I could take out of each now with me that I think would better me, whenever I need it again. And so yeah, it's the superintendent and the architects are the two that really make it happen. You got your contractor in there that builds the place. Obviously, that's a vital role as well. But the superintendent's the one that's going to be left there maintaining it from there on. And you got to be willing to step up with the ownership or the members, and this is why we did this, and this is how we did it, and the reason why, and stand behind your decision making.
Creekmore is a very highly respected golf course. A lot of prestigious things are staged there. A lot of U.S. Open qualifiers, things like that. So that was a kind of a unique thing when you're taking it from the outset. How much a difference is there from what the original layout was, or once you have it up and running, how much do things change where you say, well, we thought that was a dandy idea and it just isn't working?
There's a little bit of that. I would say at Creekmore, at least when I was there, we didn't have a whole lot of that.
That's good. That's good.
Tom Clark, who was the architect on that job, I think everything was built pretty close to his spec. I mean, you'll get in the field and you'll have a drainage issue pop up, or you'll have a spring pop up in the ground that you got to add a drainage line to or something. Drainage is like the number one thing that you battle in construction is water. A lot of times that's the number one place you start, is how do we move the water off of this site and get a site to drain, because no matter how good a grass grower you are, if you got water standing, it's not going to matter. The grass isn't going to grow. So
right.
That's goal number one. But I think that there's some things in time, that, and that's even more reason, back to the question we just answered, that the superintendent and the architect need to be on the same page, because even when the project's done, the two need to talk together after the place has been open for a while, or getting feedback and work together if there is any tweaks or changes that need to happen. If a bunker edge is falling down, or if the tee box is too small and need to add a tee, or if there's a tree in the way or something like that. So it's a very give and take, and a very good opportunity for two people to work together and work towards a common goal.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092.
Hi, everybody. This is Matt Llewellyn from 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. I just want to thank everybody for supporting local restaurants during this time of uncertainty. 23rd Street Brewery is now open until this pandemic is over. And right now, more than anything, local restaurants need your help and support. Come on out and see us. 23rd Street Brewery is open now from 11:30 till 9 o'clock for dine-in and carry-out. Whatever we can do to help you out, maybe with your catering needs, too. I appreciate all the support, and thank you for continuing to shop local.
It's time now to get some great assistance on healthcare with Chad Beisel from no-nonsense-healthcareninja.com. And Chad, even your business's name would indicate that you have a real aggressive way and an important way to go after some health insurance for your clients.
What I've found out in the industry is just a lot of people are really confused. They don't know what plans are good, what their plans offer, how they cover. And so I've just taken the approach of being really educated on what options are available to clients and showing them all the options that are available and making sure they understand them so they can pick and choose what options are good for them.
And one thing that's really important, of course, is access to doctors and hospitals.
Absolutely. That's becoming a big issue for a lot of people. Some of the plans out there are going to restrict those clients to where they can and cannot go. So if you live just outside the Kansas City metro, some of the counties outside, you may not be able to go to some of the hospitals up here in the Kansas City area. So making sure that you have a plan that's got doctors and hospitals and places you want to go is really, really important today.
Learn more by visiting no-nonsense-healthcareninja.com and let Chad help you. Firsthand, I have enjoyed the benefits of the CBD products from Canaway. My back feels better and better these days as a major part of my routine are the pain-relieving salve and the Pure Gold oil. And recently I had the pleasure of a treatment session using the Canaway CBD in conjunction with the Microlight 830 cold laser. The non-invasive treatment session worked wonders, and I could barely tell I was even being touched. TML 830 is the first 3B cold laser to get FDA approval, and in addition, the combination treatment with CBD is patent pending. The new smart laser is the only hands-free cold laser in the world and is used by athletic trainers, chiropractors, MDs, physical therapists, and veterinarians everywhere. You can learn more about all the great benefits from the complete line of Canaway CBD products by contacting my friend Sherry McCants at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312 to get outstanding information about Canaway. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkScale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Our guest is Todd Bohn. He is the Director of Agronomy at the Big Cedar Lodge and the associated golf courses there, an unbelievable facility that's only expanding and expanding and expanding, and we'll get into that. You made the move there in 2016. Tell me the circumstances around making the move from Kansas City to the Ozarks.
Well, I was blessed. I was working as a superintendent at Wolf Creek Golf Club there out south of Kansas City.
I did forget about the years at Wolf Creek. Tell me first about the move to Wolf Creek. That was a great oversight by me right there, because that's an unbelievably highly respected place. When you made that move in 2011, right?
Yeah. So I was at Creekmore and had the opportunity to go and be the superintendent at Wolf Creek, and it's a club with a lot of great individuals and a lot of good golfers there. And so that was really appealing to me to go work for a lot of good people and at one of the more prestigious clubs in the city there. And so I was able to go there and continue to grow as a superintendent and learn ways to do things and was able to do it with a group of really good players. And those guys pushed me, from the onslaught to give them good conditions. And we worked really hard to give them, quote unquote, you hear this word a lot if you're in the golf business, but championship conditions day in and day out. And that was our plan. And,
I was going to ask you real quick, stop you right there. Wolf Creek has a slew of really good players, and tour players actually go there, and so on and so forth. In some regards, that must be a little bit tougher, more challenging, whatever, than not to demean Creekmore or any of these other fine golf courses we have in Kansas City. But when you have a bunch of scratch and pluses, what's that like?
It's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's good. I welcome challenges. I like that. I like being at the best. I want to be the best in everything I do. And so, I try to push my teams underneath of me to do that. So, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as an amazing opportunity that, I got to go work for some of the best, around and to produce conditions for a membership that was so dedicated to golf. I mean, that's the only thing out there. They don't have anything else out there but the golf course, and really developed a lot of good skills out there, and had some challenges out there, with flooding and with some things that I had never dealt with before. That just, you always continue to grow, and you always continue to, keep learning and keep soaking it up. And my time there, I got to meet a gentleman that a lot of people there probably know, and Tom Watson, and develop a really good friendship with Mr. Watson out there. And so just a lot of aspects like that. And, Robert Strebs playing out there, and just a couple of those. So that was a lot of fun to be there, and, to try to measure yourself up against some of the best and hear feedback from the best, and really hone your skills there.
So in 2016, you get another opportunity, as I mentioned before I decided that I better fix my mistake there at Wolf Creek and move on to Big Cedar. As great an opportunity as it was then, I don't know if you perhaps saw what was coming down the road with all the things that were planned and are still being planned there. What were the particulars of you deciding to make that move?
Well, I was not looking to move. I was in Kansas City and enjoying my time at Wolf Creek, and I got a phone call from Bass Pro Obvious HR, and asking me if I was interested in joining the golf team. And I had heard a little bit about what was going on down here, what John Morris, the owner, was doing with the place, but I didn't really know too much. I was pretty locked into being in Kansas City, and enjoyed our time there, my family and I, my wife and my daughter, and we were kind of locked in there. And then I kind of talked to him, and I said, "Excuse me, I don't know why you're calling me," and we kind of had a conversation, and I kind of said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And I kind of blew it off. And then I got another phone call about a month later from Big Cedar HR, and they kept talking to me and telling me, what they were doing down here. And I still didn't really understand the full potential of everything that was going on down here. And then through a mutual friend in Kansas City, I got another phone call, and from a gentleman by the name of Bill Core, who is a golf architect, obviously. And I had never met Bill before. We have a mutual friend, and he had heard my name and called me and told me they were getting ready to build a golf course down here, and that John Morris, the owner, had for their assistance in trying to find somebody to come run the operation for them, and that they wanted my name and mentioned my name. And so I was very honored and very flattered, and ended up, make a long story short, made a trip down here, talked to them. At the end of my trip, I talked to a lot of different people, but at the end of my trip, I sat down one-on-one with Johnny Morris, the owner, obviously of Bass Pro and Cabela's now, and the owner of Big Cedar. And we were sitting one-on-one talking and had a very, very good conversation. And just hearing his passion for this place and his vision for this place and where he wants to go in the future with this place, and talking about building 3 golf courses, and he has the land to do it, and just his passion for the outdoors and nature, and it just really sat well with me. And I left that conversation saying, if I end up getting that opportunity, I need to pay attention and do that. And the rest is history. I came down here in January 2016, and they had 2 golf courses at the time, Top of the Rock and Buffalo Ridge Springs down here, which was formerly known as Branson Creek. And that was really, when I got here, I had to really focus on those 2. We were hosting the Bass Pro Legends of Golf in April, and I got here in January, and there were some things that needed to be done to those 2 right off the get-go. And then we just started breaking ground on our 13-hole Gary Player par 3 golf course, and Mountaintop is what it's called. And so I started that construction, and then about 6 months later, Core Crenshaw came into town, and we started construction on Ozarks National, clearing the land and started that. And then, obviously about a year and a half later after that, we started construction on Payne Valley, our Tiger Woods golf course that just officially opened, that everybody saw on TV a couple weeks ago, hopefully. And So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. 5 years for me down here. Seen a lot, done a lot. Continue as you probably hear with me growing. I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be doing some of the things I'm doing now with building roads and buildings and utilities and bridges, and all the while, managing operations of a golf course with 5 properties and hosting events, multiple events in the same year, with staff shortages and just managing a whole lot of things. But it's been quite a ride, and it's the future is extremely bright at that Big Cedar.
You mentioned some of the top names in the game. I mean, among the architects that are there, you've mentioned a couple of them, but Tom Fazio, Gary Player, Corin Crenshaw, and now Tiger Woods. And that's Tiger Woods' first 18 hole, or one of his first. He's done a couple of things, but he's new in the game. But somebody like Corin Crenshaw, they're probably maybe the most respected current architecture team. What is it like to work with somebody who's, I mean, do you ever find yourself shaking your, I mean, these are huge names, and not only in the world of playing golf, but in the world of architecture as well.
Danny, I'm so blessed and so fortunate to be a part of that. And, I owe a ton of gratitude to John for having me to be a part of it. To your point, they are some of the best, if not the best, architects in the world, in my opinion. I know that there's a lot of really, really good ones. I mean, you didn't even mention the Nicholas Group that did Top the Rock. We still work with them. You mentioned Fazio, Gary Player, Cor Crenshaw, Tigers Group, and then Tom Watson did for us a little practice putting green and stuff. So I even got to work with him after developing a friendship down here, which was really awesome for us to do that. But you learn, you see how these folks operate, you see how the different individual aspects on how they do things, and there's not a lot of people that get to see that in one spot, and I feel so fortunate to be able to see that and to learn from these folks. And now I feel like I've got a lot of wealth of knowledge, with how to build things and why things are built a certain way and why things are done a certain way, and that there's multiple ways to achieve the same thing, and different philosophies, with how each architect does things. For instance, Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw, they have a very minimalistic approach.
Right.
And they like to take, they turn more projects down than they take. And the fact that they built a golf course down here at Big Cedar in Ridgedale for Johnny Morris is a testament to John. That he was able to get them to come here and do it, and that he had the land to do it, because they're very selective in what they do. And the reason is because they don't like to move a lot of dirt. They like to use the natural land and the natural, and so much so that we moved less dirt building an 18-hole golf course with Cor Crenshaw than we did building a 13-hole par 3 golf course with Gary Player. And so you just let that sink in there for a minute, and that's a testament in the quality of the holes and the quality of the golf course is unparalleled. And that's not to say that the way we built Gary Player was wrong or anything. It's just kind of what the land gives you, and all the projects kind of dictate themselves and have their own characteristics. And then you come over to the Tiger Woods Paynes Valley course, and it was a massive construction project that we worked on it for 3 years to build. So it was like double the amount of time it took us to build the Ozarks National Course. And so you see all the different aspects of it, and you see the different challenges, and you learn to overcome those, and just continue to learn to overcome and work for a great in product that hopefully is here for generations to come, and that John and his family are super proud of, and that people want to come back and keep coming back and seeing us.
You mentioned Johnny Morris, of course, and he is the driving force behind all of this. And one of the unique things, and of course, Big Cedar Lodge has many things besides golf, but people like us like to focus on the golf aspect of it. But and Johnny Morris is not a golfer. I mean, he doesn't. That's the kind of the unique thing about this. He has nephews and people who have started to play the game, but he really is not somebody who had a passion for golf. He just had a passion for really nice things.
He is, but he can still, don't let him kid you. Don't ever bet him and gamble with him to play for golf, because he'll play it like he's not very good. But I've seen him play a few times, and he's not too shabby for a guy that never practices hardly. But yeah, he's just got the mission, the goal, his everything is connect people to the outdoors, to nature, to get everybody away from the TV sets, away from the cell phones. Get them out, get them into it, and that drives his passion for everything that he does. And you'll see it in the stores, you'll see it in Bass Pro stores, you'll see it out on his property, at Dogwood Canyon, at Big Cedar, wherever you go, Wonders of Wildlife, here on the golf courses. It's all got his stamp on it, and his just vision, and just the details, and all the many things that you see, the rock outcroppings, the waterfalls, everything, wildlife to everything. I mean, it's just details matter, and that's one of the things. I was a detail person when I came to work for him, but I thought I was, at least. But I've really grown in that with him. It's just details are just everything, and the small details matter, and that's what continues to bring people back. And we really focus on that down here, or try to anyway. And he's got a true passion for the outdoors, and that's, what you see on TV with him is what you get in real life. And he grew up in this part of the country, in Springfield. He grew up fishing on Table Rock Lake, built his business, started Bass Pro there, which is a great American dream story anyway. Mm-hmm. And then, it's just grown into this, and to have this a part of it now, I think is really super special.
What was it like to work around Tiger Woods? It sounded like, because this is one of his first projects and a big and ambitious, it sounds like he kind of wanted to put a big stamp on it. If you're doing twice the amount of work that you would for esteemed designers like Tom Fazio, of Core and Crenshaw, for instance, what was that like, and what's the star power like being around Tiger Woods?
Well, I was in the area, I'm 42, and so I was in the era, when I was a young man coming up, when he was in his prime and really, really winning. And obviously I was a huge Tiger Woods fan. And so the first time I met him, it was really star power. So like, holy smokes, here he's coming here to do this and what. But yes, I've got to spend some time with him on multiple occasions down here, and just a really good eye for detail. Him and John together, walking this land together and looking at things and planning holes out, was really, really cool to see, and to be a part of. After he gets to know you a little while, he starts busting your chops on things and treating you like like one of his guys, and that's fun to see. And just he's got a real good eye. I mean, he knows turf. He knows different types of bent grass. He knows different types of grasses. He, bunker placements, yardages. He's very attuned to yardage of tee locations and what the players of today, and all that. But the main drive in his operation down here, building this golf course, was to have a playable golf course for all skill levels. And he grew up in the public sector in California playing. And so for this to be his first public access golf course in the world here was a huge thing for us, but it was also big for him. And he really wanted to have big playing corridors. So when you come play Paynes Valley, people will notice it's big. There's a lot of acres. The fairways are super wide. Greens are big. A lot of area to bounce a ball off. Now, you can get into trouble in spots if you're not careful, but just really, and that's all driven by Tiger and his team and John. John wanted that as well. He doesn't want people here getting killed, playing a really tough course all the time and not wanting to come back. So there's a ton of tee options on this place, on a lot of our golf courses. And so there's plenty of opportunity for people, good and not so good players to enjoy themselves, we feel, down here.
When you've been talking about all of this and your involvement in it, it struck me that do you ever get the thought that you'd like to design a golf course?
No, I don't have the creative juices for that. I'm not a good drawer. I've learned a lot being here, but I would not want to dive into that. I didn't do anything justice on that end.
What do you think? It doesn't sound to me like that. There's 5 golf courses there of various varieties now, and it seems to be stunning to me that there's going to be 10 years from now. There's going to be 5. Do you see things on the horizon with somebody as ambitious as Johnny is?
That's one of the top questions I get now that we have all of this done, and I will tell you, I'm not holding anything back. I'm not doing anything, but as of right now, there's nothing on the table right now. But as you know, with John, that could change in a hurry. And if they decide to do something, our focus right now is finishing up the last details of this amazing golf course. At Paynes Valley, the 19th hole that people saw on TV is such a climactic ending to this. It was how to see all that to come to fruition, and then getting carts up and out of this amazing 200 and some foot rock cliff at the end of the hole, and connecting with nature and going through this trail. And so we're working hard on some last minute details on that. And then we're going to be working on building some infrastructure things with some lodging and some things out here for guys trips and for families to come stay out here. And so that's our focus right now. And, we're enjoying seeing all the golfers that have come to see us now. It's like been a golf explosion down here, and it's just really it's cool to see. That I guess the movies were right. You build it and they will come. But when you build an amazing product like John does, and put the touches on it with the people that he's surrounded himself with, it's a good match.
Well, you've certainly been generous with all of the things that you've said about many other people, but when you are going around the property or putting the finishing touches on it, there has to be an incredible sense of pride for you.
There is. I've got an incredible group of guys that work under me that make me look good, and that's what I always tell them is, with my title being the director of agronomy, I guess I feel guilty. I get a lot of the praise, but it's those guys that are here day in and day out fighting the fight and going out there and making things look the way they do, that I'm forever grateful to. But yes, it's very humbling and very, it's awesome to leave here and say, that we're a part of that and that, we're a small part of that, getting that put together and that, trying to produce that every day and is very, very grateful for that opportunity.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Kling Scale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Kling Scale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new.